Good afternoon, it's Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help, end the stigma. On the news this afternoon. Rivers State Government retrieves vehicle attached to Deputy Governor Order. Rivers State Government reacts to withholding of pension, suspension of free petrol subsidy bus. PDP NWC Governors Forum to meet over defection. Presidency denies sacking of ministers. On the foreign scene, 3 people killed in shooting in Sweden. I'm Ifechuku Moanyele with the news. Now, sources say 3 vehicles have been retrieved from the Rivers State Deputy Governor's Lodge. This comes after social media reports say that the vehicles were taken away from the suspended Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu. Sources say officials of the state government retrieved the vehicles because they don't have enough to serve the state government. As you may know, President Bola Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, suspending the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, the deputy governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, as well as members of the State House of Assembly for 6 months. Meanwhile, the senior special advisor on media to the Rivers State government, Mr. Hector Ibikio-Ubo, said only one Hilux bus was retrieved from for operational purpose. Meanwhile, the senior special advisor, media to the Rivers State government, Hector Ibikio-Ubo, says it is incorrect for pensioners in the state to say that the 2 billion naira meant for payment of outstanding pensions has been stopped. Ibikio-Ubo said this during an interview with correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu. He said the sum of 2.9 billion naira has already been approved for the payment of outstanding pension, and that gratuity, which is the only outstanding, will soon be paid.
The Rivers State government, under Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, has paid outstanding pensions. The last I checked, he had paid pensions in excess of 2.9 billion. The only thing that we know this government has held on to are gratuities, just to be sure you do not have monies being paid to people who haven't earned it. That's the only outstanding I know about. That will also soon be cleared off. But as for outstanding pensions, that's been sorted. That was why I said the information you have is materially incorrect.
Now, Mr. Hector also explained that the free petrol subsidy bus, which has been stopped since the appointment of the sole administrator, will resume as soon as possible.
And the free bus program, as soon as there is clarity, it will be allowed to run. These things wouldn't take time. The administrator has fair intention, so let's be patient.
He also said the administration deserves commendation for ensuring transparency in the system.
What you must understand about this administration is that there is a deliberate effort and intention to uphold probity. Whatever it is this administration has found to be unclear, it has halted to have clarity. That itself should be applauded. You do not expect that under an emergency governance, you have the same latitude of freebies that were permissible under the previous dispensation. So this administration will be accountable for everything it does. So the last penny is spent for the betterment and the benefit of the Rivers people.
Now, yesterday, the State Secretary of the Pensioners Union in Rivers State, Dr. Joseph Abu, alleged that the 2 billion naira released monthly for the payment of gratuities by the suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara has been stopped since the sole administrator assumed office.
When I heard the news, it was a very bad news to me because that is the only hope of the poor pensioner. I am reading a letter to him telling him that the Nigerian Union of Pension want to have audience with him. I have not responded, and so we expect that he will respond. Whereby we can speak our mind and tell him exactly what the suffering of pensioners of River State. This has affected the life of retired pensioners. Sometimes they go and borrow with the hope that their pension will be paid. But I can't see how somebody will retire from job after 35 years and the payment of benefit becomes a problem. Most of them have died because they could not attend to medical treatment because the gratuity is not paid.
Also, some civil servants at the River State Secretariat raised concerns over the disappearance of the state fuel subsidy palliative buses initiated by the Fubara administration. Speaking with our correspondent on this, the civil servant said the buses are no longer available because the state sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, has allegedly stopped providing fuel.
Since they announced the state of emergency, I think after a few days, we have not seen that bus. We're not happy. I've joined them from oil mill to secretariat. They don't take 1 naira from anybody. So as it is now, it's really difficult with the transport fare for civil servants to come to work. May them bring back the governor. The bus will come back. It will help the poor.
The palliative bus is for the civil servant and non-civil servants. Now we are not seeing the bus, and when we ask a question, the sole administrator said there is no fuel, which I am very convinced that a state like River State has enough money to fuel that bus. Right now we are suffering. Every day I paid 2,000 naira.
Before when they enter, the thing they carry me, they go reach Eleme Junction. So the thing they have, the premier or governor come back. Things they are, the state when they function.
Meanwhile, the federal government has declared Thursday a public holiday to mark this year's Workers' Day, celebrated annually on May 1st. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, announced the holiday. In a statement, Tunji-Ojo commended Nigerian workers for their diligence and sacrifice, recognizing their efforts as contributors to the country's internal and external growth. He reiterated the need for peace to drive industrialization and economic growth and urged workers to imbibe the culture of innovation and productivity. Moving on now, a former chairman of the Nigeria Bar Association Port Harcourt branch, Prince Nyekwere, says the query issued to the current chairman of the River State government cannot be justified. Prince Nyekwere, in an interview, said the NBA has every right to speak on matters of national importance, but he also blamed the association for what he called an embarrassing situation.
The query cannot be justified in any way. The impunity we experience from our various government agencies. To be the president of NBA and the chairman of a branch, you must be in private practice. NBA should better go back, because the essence of that provision that they overlooked is what we are facing now. What the administrator did is wrong, but look at the embarrassment it is causing us. So let's just call a spade a spade.
Prince Nyekwere called for a change in the NBA's constitution to allow only private league practitioners to contest for chairman and other key positions in the association.
If NBA want to avoid this situation, they should go back to where it is, that at least for chairman and secretary of the branch, and of course in the national it is like that, Of course, there is also a conflict of interest here. Your employer is saying, I don't like what you do. You must select one.
And now a River State High Court in Port Harcourt is expected to hear the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction in the suit filed by former chairman of Obiakpo Local Government Area, Chijioke Ihunwa, against the Inspector General of Police and Commissioner of Police, River State Police Command. The Nigeria Police Force, Police Service Commission, Director General, State Security Service, and State Security Service River State are also listed as defendants. The suit was instituted by the former Obiakpo chairman to stop security agencies from arresting him. Now, the River State Judiciary has announced that normal court sittings at the State High Court will resume today following the conclusion of the Easter vacation. Chief Registrar of the High Court, David Ihua Maduenyi, made this known in a statement. Recall that the Chief Judge of River State, Justice Simeon Chibozo Amadi, directed judges to proceed on Easter vacation starting from April 14 to April 29. Coming up next, presidency denies a sack of ministers. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Advertising Practitioners Association Port Harcourt chapter says the recent Federal High Court judgment on the powers of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria to regulate all advertising content in all media platforms will strengthen advertising practice in the country and save lives of Nigerian consumers. The chairman of Advertising Practitioners Association Port Harcourt chapter, Dr. D.K. Bekwele, in a statement said the Federal High Court judgment revalidated ARCON powers to ensure compliance to advertising ethics within Nigeria's marketing communication ecosystem. The chairman of Rivers State ARCON called on advertising practitioners, including content creators and clients, to ensure that advertising contents are submitted for ARCON vetting in order not to incur the wrath of the law. Away from that, the National Working Committee and the PDP Governors Forum are scheduled to meet on May 11th to address the wave of defections and other challenges facing the party. Reports say the meeting will focus on strategies to prevent certain members from leaving the party, the issue of the National Secretary, and other matters impacting the party. This comes after the PDP NWC, during its meeting yesterday, instructed its legal advisor Kamaldeen Aljibade San to take legal action regarding the defection of Delta State Governor Sheriff Oberewori and other elected officials. The presidency has debunked reports claiming that President Bola Tinubu had sacked 3 ministers. Special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, in a post on his X handle, expressed deep concern over the dangerous trend. He described the story as a fabrication with no basis in fact. In other news, the Regional Deputy Secretary General of the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies, Innocent Douglas, says the ongoing power outage in parts of Port Harcourt is due to gas supply limitations affecting distribution companies. Speaking on Nigeria FM's Morning Crossfire, Mr. Douglas explained that the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, cannot pass on sufficient gas energy to the distribution companies, which has forced them to ration electricity supply across the state. He said the areas currently receiving electricity are considered priority areas as part of a load management strategy.
Discos are having limitations of energy, which is supposed to get to them through the TCN, and then TCN is only going to step down available energy that is being generated from the generation company, and all these 3 chain of the electricity supply works together. Unfortunately, you cannot give what you don't have. Some of the IPPs are also having so many issues because of lack of gas, like hospital, like government agencies, like all these. They are priority areas where power had to be channeled to. But when there is no gas and you have a limited energy, you must give to these people. Priority areas.
Douglas suggested that if all the major power stations in River State operated simultaneously, the state would not only have enough electricity for its use, but could also supply other states. He further noted that adopting a narrow for gas payment model could ease the challenge, as the cost of gas remains really high.
AFAM IPP, OMOC, and the Transamade are privately run. That's why we call them independent power. And the problem we are having with generation stations is if all these power stations will power at a time and run, we will have enough energy that we can even give out to other states, considering the state power regulation that have been signed into law by President Tinubu. But unfortunately, these power stations are not running. They run once at a time. They don't have gas. We have a lot of gas in River State that are not channeled to power, and it's expensive. So what am I saying? If we can get Naira to gas, it will help people to participate in generating energy.
And now in business, the new management has dismissed the managing directors of the 3 refineries under the purview of NNPCL. The refineries include the Port Harcourt Refining Company, Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company, and the Kaduna Refining and Petrochemical Company. In entertainment, singer Davido says he doesn't get enough credit for his impact on the Nigerian music industry. He explained that despite being consistent in the music industry for 15 years, people don't give him his due credit. And now in sports, the Brazilian Football Confederation CBF has ended talks with Italian manager Carlo Ancelotti to coach the Brazil national team. The CBF pulled out after Real Madrid made his release difficult. The new favorite to take over the Brazil national team is now Portuguese coach Jose Jesus, who currently manages Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
Swedish police have arrested a teenager after a fatal triple shooting in the city of Uppsala on Tuesday. The shooter reportedly fled on a scooter following the attack in a hair salon in the center of the city, triggering a manhunt. Police confirmed on Wednesday that the person arrested for the shooting is under the age of 18. All 3 victims were aged between 15 and 20 years old.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Rivers State government has retrieved vehicles attached to Deputy Governor Professor Ngozi Odu. Rivers State government has dismissed reports that it stopped the 2 billion naira meant for payment of outstanding pension, promises to resume operation of free petrol subsidy bus. The NWC of the PDP and its Governors Forum are to meet on the 11th of May to discuss the spate of defection in the party and other issues. The presidency has denied reports that some ministers have been sacked. And on the foreign scene, Swedish police have arrested a teenager after fatal triple shooting. The news was edited by Onyeka Chimusu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.